President Trump is back at the White House from briefings at Camp David after 2 dramatic policy reversals. Today demanding Democrats negotiate a border deal in 2 weeks, or thousands of undocumented migrants will be rounded up and deported.
We want to end the days where people believe they can come into the country, make a claim of asylum, and then be released into the country on their own recognizance, only to vanish into the nation.
Democrats pushing back. House Speaker Pelosi saying time is needed for comprehensive immigration reform. The standoff in Washington as disturbing reports from the border emerge about conditions in U.S. facilities. Advocates claiming there's not enough food, water, or sanitation.
We are seeing sick children, we are seeing dirty children, we are seeing hungry children.
The president on Meet the Press.
You're not even schooling these kids anymore.
We're doing a fantastic job under the circumstances. The Democrats aren't even approving giving us money.
Also, on Monday, the president expected to slap another round of sanctions on Iran after calling off a military attack. New reports today, the U.S. launched a cyber attack at Iran's missile systems.
I'm not looking for war. And if there is, it'll be obliteration like you've never seen before.
And a huge battle continues this week in Congress over billions of dollars to fund various border issues, including humanitarian aid, with no agreement in sight.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.